Core i3. The Core i3 is Intel's basic processor designed for everyday computer use and simple multitasking. It usually comes equipped with 4 to 6 cores, which is more than enough power for tasks like browsing the internet, watching videos, or working on several documents at once. Intel's 8th generation was the first to introduce 4 cores to the Core i3 line, significantly boosting its performance. You can even run some light games without trouble. However, if you attempt to do demanding work like complex video rendering or playing a modern AAA game, it is possible, but you will likely experience some slowing down and visible pauses, or lagging and stuttering. Despite this limitation, it is precisely what makes this processor affordable and an excellent entry-level CPU for building a budget computer. An important detail is the letter or suffix you sometimes see at the end of the CPU's name. That suffix indicates the processor's specialized features or performance profile. U suffix, laptops. Laptop versions of the i3 often have the U suffix. This means the CPU is designed to limit its power consumption, often around 15 watts, which allows the laptop to produce less heat and achieve longer battery life. This is ideal for office workers or students because they do not have to keep recharging their laptop, as it can last through an entire day. F suffix, desktops. On desktop models, the standard core processors include built-in graphics, but some versions have the F suffix. This means those chips do not have integrated graphics at all, so you absolutely need a separate graphics card in your PC. The good thing is, these F models are usually a bit cheaper, making them a smart choice for a budget build if you already own a spare graphics card. T suffix, desktops. There is also the T version, which is built for low-power desktops. This makes it perfect for compact PCs or office setups because it uses less electricity and maintains a cooler temperature. Core i5. The Intel Core i5 is the popular mid-tier processor and is one of the most widely used CPUs by many people. This is because it remains affordable while being substantially more powerful than the Intel Core i3. Core i5 processors come with 6 or even 14 cores, making them capable enough for tasks like photo or video editing, programming, and, of course, gaming as well. It is important to note that a higher CPU tier does not always guarantee faster performance if the chip is from an older generation. For example, if we compare an Intel Core i3 with an Intel Core i5 in the same generation, the i5 is definitely stronger. However, if we compare a newer generation of Intel Core i3 against an older generation of Core i5, they are actually pretty much equal. This is because even though the Core i3 is a lower tier compared to the Core i5, its speed and efficiency will improve a lot if it is manufactured using newer technology. When people talk about gaming performance, they sometimes compare the Intel Core i5 with the competing Ryzen 5 series. In general, Intel has a slightly better performance in gaming due to its higher clock speeds and strong single-core performance. In terms of suffixes, i5 processors in laptops still come with the U suffix for basic use, but now they also feature the H and HX suffixes. H suffix, laptops. This H suffix, often around 45 watts, indicates the processor is aimed at gaming laptops because it offers higher performance, but it will consume more energy and generate more heat. K suffix, desktops. On desktops, some i5 models include the K suffix, which means the chip has the overclocking feature. If you want to overclock the processor, it can run faster than its normal speed, but this requires higher wattage consumption and produces more heat. If you plan to use this feature, you will need a better cooling system like liquid cooling, because regular cooling fans usually are not powerful enough to keep it cool. Core i7. The Intel Core i7 is a high-performance processor intended for individuals like content creators who need to run heavy programs and juggle many tasks simultaneously. To illustrate the difference, if you can play a game on high settings with a Core i5, with a Core i7, you can play your game at high settings while recording your gameplay with OBS Studio. opening Discord, and opening a lot of Chrome tabs without lagging. This superior capability is possible because the Core i7 has more cores, usually around 8 to 20 cores. In terms of suffix, i7 in laptops usually comes with the HX suffix. HX suffix, laptops. The HX is basically like the H suffix, but HX gives you a much higher performance, typically starting at 55 watts of power. It usually comes installed in some thick, high-end gaming laptops because it requires larger cooling systems to dissipate the heat. KF suffix, desktops. As for desktops, there is also a variant called KF. It simply means the processor has the overclocking feature, but it does not have integrated graphics, which makes it cheaper compared to the model with just the K variant. Just to inform you, people these days often prefer AMD instead of Intel, especially for the high-end tier like Core i7 and Ryzen 7. While Intel CPUs still perform well, Ryzen processors generally operate at cooler temperatures, at similar or lower prices, and often offer better overall performance. Core i9, the Intel Core. i9 is Intel's flagship processor that is specifically built for demanding professionals and technology enthusiasts. It has 16 to 24 cores, which makes it immensely powerful for heavy workloads like studio-level 3D modeling, achieving ultra-graphic settings in heavy AAA games, and editing 4K video. Regarding the suffix, it is the same as the Core i7, K, F, K, F, H, X. The main difference is that the Core i9 is simply more powerful in terms of raw performance. However, if we are talking about peak performance in gaming, more people these days often do not choose the Core i9. They select the Ryzen 9 instead. While the Core i9 is still excellent, Ryzen CPUs have a special suffix called X3D, which is AMD's processor that includes 3D V-cache technology to significantly boost performance in video games without needing to consume more wattage. Despite all the pros and cons of the Intel Core i9, most people do not really need a CPU this powerful anyway, because only people like technology enthusiasts or specialized professionals really need this kind of extreme processing capability. Core Ultra. The Intel Core Ultra series is the newer generation of the usual Core i series, released in late 2023. You can find them in high-end laptops like Asus ROG and Lenovo Legion. What makes the Core Ultra different is that it has a specialized chip called a Neural Processing Unit (NPU) built inside the processor. The NPU is a dedicated processing unit that handles tasks related to artificial intelligence (AI). So, instead of burdening every task to your main CPU, which can make it hotter and consume more wattage, those AI-related tasks will be handled by the NPU instead, allowing your laptop to run cooler and more efficiently. Some real-life examples of the NPU being used are when you generate automatic background blur for video calls using Windows Studio Effects, or when you use the AI generative fill feature in editing software like DaVinci Resolve and Photoshop. But despite all of these advanced AI features, most people do not really need this capability yet. It is more suitable for professional editors, designers, or anyone with tons of specialized workloads. Intel vPro is a special variant of the Intel Core series designed for business use. You will often see vPro versions of Core i5, i7, or i9 in office or enterprise laptops. What makes vPro special is that it includes Intel's active management technology, AMT, and a security feature called Total Memory Encryption, TME. AMT is essentially a remote management feature where IT administrators can update, control, or lock many company computers remotely so they do not have to fix each one individually. The Total Memory Encryption feature means it can encrypt your login credentials, encryption keys, and other text-based files that are stored temporarily in the memory. If somebody attempts to steal your data while it is in transit, the data they retrieve will become scrambled and unreadable instead. Intel Atom. Intel Atom is an ultra-low power processor that is built for small and portable devices. You will mostly find them in devices like point-of-sale machines used for payments, digital kiosks in malls or airports, and also embedded in devices like security cameras. These CPUs are designed to use very little electricity compared to Intel processors in laptops and desktops, often consuming only around 6 watts of power, so they barely generate heat. That is why they do not really need fans or big cooling systems like the other CPUs. Intel Celeron was Intel's weakest processor series that was truly made for really basic tasks like typing documents. It was mostly used in cheap laptops and office PCs back in the early 2000s, but Intel officially discontinued it in 2023 since practically nobody is using this weak CPU anymore.
Intel replaced this brand, along with Pentium, with the new Intel processor designation for entry-level products. In fact, if you check CPU benchmark rankings of 273 Intel processors, the Intel Celeron series sits at the very bottom. The reason why it was so weak is that it was originally built from Intel's normal chips, but these chips came with defects and errors. So, Intel decided to disable those defective cores to make them function normally, and then they called it Celeron. That is why if you open one browser tab with Celeron, everything is just fine, but the moment you open two, the whole system starts to lag significantly. Intel Pentium. Intel Pentium was basically the same story as Intel Celeron. They both were weak and got discontinued in 2023, but the difference is Pentium was slightly stronger and more expensive than Celeron. As a result, you could open more browser tabs or run simple office applications more smoothly. It could even handle some classic games like chess and the original Doom game. Intel Xeon. Intel Xeon is a specialized processor that is not made for a regular PC, but is designed for powerful workstations and servers that handle heavy-duty tasks like large-scale simulations, data centers, and cloud computing. The Xeon is able to do all of that non-stop without crashing because these chips have lots of cores, like 32, 64, and even up to 128 cores in the new Xeon 6 series released in 2025. Xeon CPUs also support multi-CPU setups, so a motherboard can use 2 or more Xeon processors at the same time to handle those heavy workloads. With all these capabilities, Intel Xeon used to dominate the professional workstation market for years.
But these days, Ryzen Threadripper from AMD has taken over because it provides more power and a better price-to-performance ratio. References: Intel official product documentation, specifications for Core i3, Core i5, and mobile suffixes, UHHX. Intel Newsroom, unveiling of Intel Xeon 6 series with 128P cores for AI performance, May 22, 2025. Intel Newsroom, discontinuation of Pentium and Celeron brands in 2023. Wikipedia, Intel, Celeron, verification of 8th generation i3 4-core introduction. Intel official product specifications, Core Ultra Processor, NPU, and AI software frameworks.
For over 20 years, I've lived and breathed this technology. On the Verified Explainer, I put that practical experience to work, spending the extra time to properly research, verify, and simplify complex topics for you, cutting through the myths to deliver the facts. If you appreciate the effort and experience that goes into every single video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a verified truth. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another verified truth, so stay tuned.